Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to JT Mods. It's Tuesday, I'm off of work and we're going up on a Tuesday. So today we're moving the JT up from 33s to 37s. So something I've been looking forward to for a while. I did hold off until we got the JT on the dyno, which we got that out of the way with the cold air intake install. I wanted to put it on the dyno as close to stock as possible. So now that that's done, we're going to start going up. Not only with tires, we got a lift kit on the way. So we got big things for the JT coming up. I do want to say, so with the tires, that the Rubicon comes with 285/70 17s. In a standard size tire, that is equivalent to a 33 11.5 on a 17-inch rim. Today we're going to 37 12.5, and we're going to stay on the same rim. So I've made the decision to run with the factory wheels for now. Number one, I just kind of like the way it looks. I think it's a tough look with a lift and bigger tires, and it looks stock, but it's not stock. So we're going to do that for a little bit. But secondary, the reason I haven't decided is because I haven't decided which wheels I want to go with. So I'm a little bit indecisive on that. Still debating V-locks, no V-locks. I've got some picked out. I've narrowed it down to 3 or 4. So we'll do that down the road. It won't be that long. But in order to run your factory wheels with the lift, you need wheel spacers. So I thought I would just make a quick video. I posted a picture of the wheel spacers I bought, and I got a couple of questions, a couple direct messages about wheel spacers. I am by no means an expert on back spacing, wheel spacing, any of that, but I can share with you what I'm doing and kind of the reason behind it. So as I mentioned, with the stock tires, they are about 11.5 width, and I'm going to a 12.5 width. So with that additional width, you run into your tire basically rubbing on the control arms, whether it be, so I'm going to quickly show you. So when you turn in, your tire has gotten wider, and it could hit your sway bar. Or in the back, when you turn the opposite way like it's turned now, your lower control arm. So in order to correct that, you need a wheel spacer. So a wheel spacer is going to push your wheel out just enough to give you the clearance that you need both ways. So today we're going to go with the Synergy 5x5 wheel spacers. These specifically are 1 3/4 inches, so 1.75 inches. I went with that because that's what my lift actually called for, a little bit bigger than that. If you wanted to run the OEM tire, so that's the biggest one that I found that I was comfortable with the material. It's hub centric. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Like I said, I'm just sharing this today for anybody out there that potentially wants to run their OEM wheels with their lift, or is just curious about wheel spacers in general. So again, it should be a pretty short video. Thanks for joining us. Let's go ahead and get everything set up and get into it. All right, so we're going to start by just removing the tire, getting the JT jacked up, getting it in place, and then we'll work on installing the wheel spacers, cleaning up the rotors. So I'm going to go ahead and take the tire off. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and clean the rotor and the brake area. It's not really, since obviously these aren't that old, it's not that bad, and it's not, not really necessary, but since I'm already here, I'm going to just clean it real good. I'm going to use brake cleaner, and I've got a steel brush. Again, I'm not going to majorly clean it, but I'm just going to go ahead and hit it while we're right here. Okay, now that we've got it cleaned up, we're going to go ahead and put the wheel spacer on. In this case, we're lucky. Let me go ahead and show you. All right, so we're lucky in the fact that the actual studs fit perfectly and they don't have to be cut. If the studs were sticking out, you would have to mark them and basically take a a wheel grinder, a disc or whatever, and cut them off to where they're flush or a little bit under before you could mount. But in our case, since they fit, it makes the job a lot easier. Essentially what we're going to do, now that we've got it cleaned up, I might pull it back off to put our thread lock. So we got to put our thread lock on the threads, and then we're going to use the lugs that actually came with the wheel spacers to mount the spacer on, and then we'll maintain our factory lugs for our wheels on the outside of the stud when we mount the tire. All right, so last step is just to go ahead and torque your wheel back to factory spec, which is 130 foot-pounds. All right, there we go. Before we move up to the 37s, I did want to benchmark the distance between the top of the tire to the fender well so that we can show the difference when we get to 37s. Obviously that gap's going to close some. And I do have this documented already on a previous video when we did the TerraFlex leveling kit. However, we've had some miles, so potentially the springs have settled. So just to make sure we have apples to apples today, I just want to go ahead and take a quick measure. And I probably won't record Mark looking at all. We're going to just record the passenger side. I'll make some notes just on each side as far as the measurements. But touching right there at that point, you kind of have to guess center point over. I'd say looks to be about 7.5 inches. Also from the width, the spacers are going to push this tire out. So if you were interested in a spacer just because you wanted your wheels to stick out a little further, this would kind of give you an idea. Before I put the spacers on, from that metal piece forward to the edge of the tire is about, I'd say, 15 3/4. All right, so I am going to grab the front measurements real quick. I'm not going to go all the way around, but and just for reference, again, if you are looking at your own JT and you have the Rubicon, my measurements may be different because I am running the TerraFlex 1.5 inch leveling kit on the front. So tire to fender, again, kind of picking a spot on here. I'm going to actually do it this way so it'll be towards the camera, but we'll say 9 inches, and then from the inside out, I'm going to actually just pick the plastic part that goes right over the shock mount because it's pretty centered to the tire, and that is all the way out to the nubs on the side of the tire. I'd say about 15.5. Yeah, so about 15.5. So we'll look at the difference on the width out, and obviously with the new tires, the width up. The width out just against the stock, right? So once I finish all four, we'll look to see how much the spacer moved it out, just in case somebody's interested in pushing their wheels out a little bit with the stock tires and wheels. And then when we get the new tires, we'll look to see how much of the gap. We're going from 33s to 37s, so that's 4 inches. Obviously, it's a circle, so you're getting 2 inches on the bottom, 2 inches on the top. You should only close this gap by 2 inches, even though you're coming up total height of tire 4 inches. Now, again, each tire, not all tires are true 37, right? They're all different, each manufacturer, but so I'm saying hypothetically you should gain 4 inches. So anyways, we'll measure it. We'll check it out. The process is the same on all 4 tires, so I'm not going to record them all. I'm going to save you time on that. We're going to do that. We got the measurements, and then we'll be ready to go to discount and get the new tires mounted. All right, so we're halfway done. I just want to take a quick second to kind of show you the subtle difference. So the left side's complete, and we'll go over to the right. So you can see the right is tucked away under the fenders. Again, back to the left one more time. You can see with the spacers, the wheel sticking out. Now that we have all 4 on, all right, so before we go swap the tires out, let's go ahead and measure. The spacer was 1 3/4 inches. It should have pushed our measurement out 1 3/4 inches. The back started at 15 3/4. So now we're at 17.5. So that's 1 3/4 inches. And it pushed it out. The front started out at 15.5. We are now at 17.25. So both came out the 1 3/4 like we thought they would. So we've got the JT at full lock. I just want to show you the clearance with the spacers. I'm going to show you the closest parts. So as you can see there's the gap for the rock sliders. Pretty good gap, right? So really no concern about rub there. We're going to take a different view. Get under the JT. So you can see the lower control arm. Still got a decent amount of clearance, right? So I'd say good 1.5 inches clearance there. I'm going to get up and have her turn it to the other way. And we'll look at the front. Okay, now obviously I have an aftermarket bumper, but no concern there, right? Big gap there, no concern hitting. And then skid plate. Skid plate's next. No concern there. And I'm going to give you a view underneath. You can see from the tire perspective, we got plenty of clearance here. Really, probably the closest thing right there. Trying to give you a good view is maybe the sway bar. Again, good clearance. This may, hopefully this comes out good on video. It may not be the best, but I think it'll give you an idea just to show you that at full lock to lock, there is no rub. All right, so I'm pumped. We just got back from getting the 37s put on. We got the Milestar Patagonias on. Now I'm just ready to get my lift and get this thing up there. But I am going to show you a side-by-side from our picture that we took this morning versus how it looks now. But I also wanted to go ahead and measure the wheel wells. So if you remember in the front, we started off with 9 inches from the center of the tire to the top. I estimated a 2-inch change, and it looks like we are about 6 3/4, so it's a little bit more than 2 inches on the front. The back was the front was at 9, and then the back was at 7.5. So let's take that measurement. back is about 5 3/4. Now, we are at a slant on my driveway, and we're not in the same spot we were earlier due to lighting. But the bottom line is you'll be able to see the aesthetics when we show the before and after. You'll be able to see kind of the gap. I will say, if we didn't have the leveling kit, I think my gap at the top would be way too tight. Now, again, I'm still looking forward to the lift and the change there. So anyways, it was a good day. The whole point really of this video was to show you kind of how to do the wheel spacers. Again, not expert, but hopefully that helped. So let's go ahead and wrap it up. But with that, I do want to just, again, I want to thank Reckless Off-Road. Reckless Off-Road made sure that I had the Synergy wheel spacers. I gave Lewis a call, had them the next day. So I've had them actually in time. I just got them on today because I was waiting on the tires. But with that being said, if there's anything that you need, make sure to check recklessoffroad.com. Use JT Mods as your discount code, and you'll get 5% off site-wide. Doesn't matter if it's a lift, wheel spacers, Sunrider top, bumper, winch. I buy it all from Reckless if I can. So again, I'd encourage you to at least give them a chance to earn your business. Thanks for watching today. We look forward to our next video. Hopefully it'll be the lift. If not, come join us anyway. Thanks.